Very good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, it is a split wide open in Samajwadi Party. Akhilesh Yadav has been expelled from the party by Chief and Father Mulayam Singh Yadav. Well, this is the big breaking story this hour. All the details on that and much more in this bulletin, starting with the headlines. Yadav family feud tears up party. Samajwadi Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav expels son Akhilesh Yadav and Ram Gopal Yadav from the party. Ram Gopal calls Mulayam's decision illegal. Arunachal Pradesh to get its fourth Chief Minister in 10 months. Pema Khandu suspended by his party along with 6 other MLAs. Takam Paryo expected to take over soon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches Aadhaar-based digital payment mobile app, says it will revolutionize the way India pays as the thumb will rule supreme. "50 days after demonetization, the situation at banks and ATMs remains largely unchanged. Government now pushes for digitizing Indian economy, announces freebies for digi payments. And US-Russia ties reach all-time post-Cold War low. Day after America sends 35 Russian diplomats back home, Moscow says it will wait and watch for the US's next step. The biggest story this hour, the Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh is on the verge of a split after Party Chief Mulayam Singh Yadav expelled his son and Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav and Party General Secretary Ram Gopal Yadav from the party for 6 years. Now, Mulayam Singh said that both Akhilesh and Ram Gopal were sacked for weakening the party. Now, both were earlier given a show-cause notice by Mulayam for releasing a parallel candidate list for the upcoming assembly polls. Well, after the notice, Ram Gopal Yadav had called an emergency national executive meet on Sunday. But Mulayam Singh said that his cousin had no power to call such a meeting without the consent of the national president of the party. He also said that Ram Gopal Yadav has damaged the party and gravely misguided Akhilesh. Now, reacting to his expulsion, Ram Gopal Yadav said that the move was unconstitutional as he was expelled within half an hour of being served a show-cause notice. Now, both Mulayam Singh and Akhilesh Yadav have called for a meeting at their respective residences on Saturday. Well, the rift had widened on Thursday after Akhilesh Yadav released his own list of 235 candidates for the polls, as their names recommended by him were denied tickets in the official list that was announced on Wednesday by his father and Party Supremo Mulayam Singh.
देखिए, ऐसा है कि इस पार्टी में लगातार शीर्ष स्तर से
न्यूज की बैठक वैसे ही बुलाने वाले थे। अभी आपके सामने खबर आ जाती, लेकिन तब तक किया गया। इसलिए हम प्रोफेसर रामपाल को 6 साल के लिए पार्टी से निष्कासित करते हैं। मुख्यमंत्री अखिलेश यादव का भी समर्थन इसमें है, इससे उनको भी 6 साल के लिए निकाला जाता है।
इस पार्टी में लगातार शीर्ष स्तर से असंवैधानिक काम हो रहे हैं, लगातार। और पार्टी का अध्यक्ष अगर असंवैधानिक काम करे तो सम्मेलन कौन बुलाएगा फिर? तो सम्मेलन तो जनप्रतिनिधियों की मांग पर बुलाया ही जाएगा। अगर सबसे बड़ा आदमी काम करे, एक बार भी पार्लियामेंट की बोर्ड की बैठक नहीं हुई हो, कैसे ये सूचियां डिक्लेयर हो गई? संविधान में है कि पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड तय करेगा। पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड का मेंबर सेक्रेटरी मैं था, एक भी मीटिंग नहीं हुई। दिखाएं कहाँ मीटिंग? फिर कैसे पार्टी के उम्मीदवार डिक्लेयर हो गए?
All right, as Samajwadi Party Chief Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav, they are dropping a big bombshell just ahead of the UP Assembly elections that are scheduled early next year. And he, in fact, expelling his son and Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav as well as his cousin Ram Gopal Yadav from the party. Well, this is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day today. In fact, Akhilesh Yadav is also going to have a press conference in a short while from now. We'll keep tracking all those developments. Meanwhile, let's move on to some other stories now. Well, Arunachal Pradesh is said to have its fourth chief minister within 10 months after Pema Khandu and 6 other MLAs were suspended by their party for alleged anti-party activities. Well, the chief of the People's Party of Arunachal, Kaling Jerang, told the State Assembly on Friday that Khandu and other suspended MLAs should be considered unattached and seated separately. Now, Pema Khandu broke away from the Congress along with the 42 members in the month of September. The PPA, which embraced him, then said that Khandu failed to meet expectations. Now, Arunachal Pradesh PHED Minister Takam Paryo is likely to take over as the next Chief Minister of the state. Arunachal Pradesh, remember, has been struggling with political instability since last December when Congress dissidents campaigned to remove their Chief Minister Nabam Tuki. Now, BJP, which is a part of the coalition government in the state, made it clear that it will only support Pema Khandu.
We are just not happy with the leadership of Pema Khandu. He has not been able to, take the party into confidence. Pema Khandu continues, then I fear that, misunderstanding can develop between BJP and PPA because we are supposed to be alliance partners. We got nothing, we have no problem with BJP. But then since he is a chief minister heading the PPA government, certain consultations should have been there with the party organization, with the party functionaries. That has been missing, and then we are so sad that he has been hobnobbing only with the BJP executives, and he has totally left us out.
We are having alliance with PPA. We are under NEDA. Our chief minister is Pema Khandu. So at this juncture, I would like to appeal the PPA that for the development of the state, for the security of the state, there should not be any such clash amongst the PPA legislature. That is what I would like to send a message to our alliance partner PPA.
On to some other news now. Well, in keeping with his push to steer India towards a cashless economy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today launched an Aadhaar-based mobile payment application called Bheem, the Bharat interface for money at the DigiDhan Mela held in New Delhi. Well, it is a rebranded version of the unified payment interface and unstructured supplementary service data. At the event, Prime Minister did a trial run by making a payment to Khadi using the Bheem mobile application. Well, the new app is expected to minimize the role of plastic cards and the point of sale machines. The app would also eliminate the fee payments for service providers such as MasterCard or Visa. Well, to use this app, merchant or commoner would need an Android phone and an Aadhaar ID. Well, the Prime Minister added that soon one would be able to make a payment without using the thumb impression without being dependent upon an internet or a smartphone. Well, the Prime Minister also felicitated the winners of the Lucky Grahak Yojana.
बहुत ही सरल है। इसे आप डाउनलोड करने के बाद स्मार्टफोन हो, 1000-1200 वाला मामूली फीचर फोन हो, इससे इसका उपयोग कर सकते हैं आप। इंटरनेट होना ही चाहिए, जरूरी नहीं है। और आने वाले 2 सप्ताह के भीतर भीतर एक और काम हो रहा है जिसकी सिक्योरिटी की चेकिंग की व्यवस्था चल रही है इन दिनों। वो आने के बाद तो ये भीम की ताकत ऐसी होगी कि आपको न मोबाइल फोन की जरूरत पड़ेगी, न स्मार्टफोन की जरूरत पड़ेगी, न फीचर फोन की जरूरत पड़ेगी, न इंटरनेट की जरूरत पड़ेगी। सिर्फ आपका अंगूठा काफी है। आपका अंगूठा काफी है। कोई कल्पना कर सकता है, एक जमाना था अनपढ़ को अंगूठा छाप कहा जाता था। वक्त बदल चुका है। अंगूठा आप ही का अंगूठा आपकी बैंक, आप ही का अंगूठा आपकी पहचान, आप ही का अंगूठा आपका कारोबार।
Well, the war of words between the opposition and the government over demonetization refuses to end. Well, the Congress has once again asked the Prime Minister for an apology, saying the note ban has brought the government's unpreparedness to the fore. Take a listen.
The government has not uttered a word about compensating the people for the economic losses heaped upon them by demonetization. The government has tried to change the narrative from black money and corruption to a cashless economy.
Well, the opposition charge was rejected by the finance minister, who said that the situation was now almost back to normal. He also said that note ban had increased tax revenue manyfold and that the opposition's argument cannot hold its ground.
There's a third category which is not new currency, but now with effect from tomorrow, the entire currency in recirculation will be the legitimate permissible currency. Till today, what was coming in recirculation was partly new currency and partly currency which had ceased to be a legal tender. It was coming earlier. Now everything is new. So the banks today will now have available the recirculated currency plus whatever RBI is injecting. And as I said yesterday, RBI has sufficient stocks.
Well, the 50-day deadline to deposit the old 500,000 rupee notes in banks came to an end on Friday, but the cash crunch continues. Now, starting Saturday, it will be illegal to hold on to old notes, barring some exceptions.
As the year comes to an end, so has the deadline given by the government to deposit old 500 and 1000 rupee notes in banks. Starting Saturday, those still holding the scrapped currency can deposit it only at select branches of the Reserve Bank of India till 31st March 2017. After 31st March 2017, holding demonetized notes would be illegal. However, banks are still unable to honor the people's need as there is not enough cash in the banking system despite the repeated assurance from the Reserve Bank of India and Finance Ministry.
मैडम सिचुएशन सेम की सेम है, कोई खास मतलब तब्दीली नहीं आई है और शायद इसमें टाइम लग जाएगा काफ़ी।
अभी इतने लोग हैं, लोगों के पास पैसे हैं, आज भी आप देख रहे हैं इतनी लंबी लाइन लगी है, तो इन्हें कुछ ना कुछ स्टेप तो लेने ही चाहिए कि भाई लोगों को एटलीस्ट जो पैसा है लोगों के पास उसको तो एटलीस्ट चेंज करके दें।
जो पीएनबी जो हमारा था उसमें तो आज कैश मिला ही नहीं उनको, आरबीआई से खाली आए थे वो, इसलिए एटीएम से ले गए और इसमें 2000 का निकल रहा है, बस 500 का है नहीं, तो 2000 मिला है।
The government, amid the cash chaos, began to stress on the digitization of the Indian economy and announced freebies for digital transactions.
सेकेंड फेज ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट हो गया, वो है डिजिटल ट्रांसफर ऑफ मनी, डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस। ये बहुत जरूरी है। जैसा मैंने कहा, जो मोदी जी ने पहले रीमोनेटाइजेशन और डीमोनेटाइजेशन किया, वो एक वैक्सीन अगेंस्ट द स्कैम्स। तो वैक्सीन यूज करने के बाद उसका रिजल्ट आना धीरे धीरे शुरू होगा।
On Thursday, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had said that the impact of demonetization is clearly visible, with tax and revenue collections going up. Jaitley said the gross direct tax collection was now growing at a rate of 14.4% over last year. This growth rate was only 8.3% previous year. In the central indirect taxes, there has been an increase of 26.2% till 30th November. According to the Reserve Bank, more than 13 lakh crores in old notes have returned to the system as deposits. So far, neither the government nor the RBI has given any clarity on the breakups of 2000 rupees and 500 rupees notes infused since demonetization. Meanwhile, the opposition parties continue to train their guns on the government.
We will not demand punishment considering the high office you hold, but we demand accountability on behalf of people of India. Modi ji, now that 50 days are over, can people of this country look forward to withdrawing their own money from their own bank accounts without any restriction from tomorrow onwards?
The left parties have given call for countrywide agitation. For the whole month of January, we will be conducting campaign to expose the duplicity, the failures of Mr. Modi government. And in fact, our party has given the call from January 3 to 10.
उनको धन्यवाद नहीं देना चाहिए देश की जनता से को, बल्कि उनसे माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जिस प्रकार से जल्दबाजी में नोटबंदी का फैसला हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने लिया और
मोदी सरकार ने लिया, उसका नुकसान पूरे देश को हुआ है।
Amid the prevailing, the Prime Minister is likely to address the nation on Saturday. All eyes will be on him when he addresses the nation on New Year's Eve. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. Well, fiscal deficit touched the 4.58 lakh crore rupees mark, or 85.8% of the budget estimate for the whole financial year at the end of April to November. Well, the fiscal situation at the end of November was better this financial year compared to the year-ago period, with the fiscal deficit then standing at 87%. Now, fiscal deficit, remember, is the gap between expenditure and revenue for the entire fiscal. For 2016-17, it has been pegged at 5.33 lakh crore rupees, or 3.5% of the GDP. More news from across the nation in Nationwide. A plea by a group of lawyers challenging the elevation of Justice J.S. Kehar as the next Chief Justice of India was dismissed on Friday by the Supreme Court. The apex court asserted that there was no question of him being considered ineligible for the post. While disapproving the grounds for entertaining the PIL, the bench noted that there were averments in the petition praising the quality of the judge who is to be sworn in as the CJI on 4th of January. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam has said that V.K. Sasikala Natarajan, who has been appointed the AIA-DMK General Secretary, will commence work soon. The party said Sasikala will hold all powers that come with the post until the formal election process can be completed. 10 miners were killed and some others feared trapped following a cave-in at Lal Matia Oppercast coal mine at Eastern Coalfields Limited on Thursday night. As per the reports, a total of 9 bodies have been recovered from the accident site and 2 injured persons were taken to the nearest hospital. An inquiry has also been ordered by the Director General of Mine Safety, and a high-level committee of experts has also been constituted by Coal India to investigate the cause of the accident. Six workers were suffocated to death when a fire broke out at a bakery in Pune in the early hours of Friday. The tragedy occurred at the Bakes and Cakes Bakery. According to fire brigade officials, a short circuit was reportedly the cause of the fire. The Pune police have also detained 3 persons who are believed to be the proprietors of the bakery. In News Tonight, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news. Stay tuned.
Like 2 persons, they cannot have same fingerprints. Similarly, no 2 woods in the world can have the same structure. Our slogan is use more, grow more, because there is no material which can replace that wood. Latest work which the institute has done is wood polymer composites. Our purpose is to replace that plastic or reduce the use of plastic.
Watch Eureka with Dr. S.K. Sharma, Senior Scientist at Institute of Food Science and Technology on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. On to some international news. Well, Russia's foreign ministry has requested President Vladimir Putin to turf out 35 American diplomats from the country in a tit-for-tat response to a similar move by Washington. Now, several measures, remember, were taken by Obama administration on Thursday to punish Russia over its alleged interference in the US presidential polls by cyber attacks. Now, the relations between the two former superpowers are at their worst since the end of the Cold War.
Relations between the US and Russia seem to have fallen to their worst since the Cold War. On Thursday, US President Barack Obama took steps to retaliate against alleged Russian interference in the 2016 US presidential elections. Calling Russia's involvement in the poll as significant malicious cyber-enabled activities, the US ordered 35 diplomats from Russia's Washington embassy and its consulate in San Francisco to leave the country. Also, 2 compounds used by Russian intelligence services in New York and Maryland will now be closed. Sanctions were also announced against 5 Russian entities and 4 individuals. In a statement, President Obama said the actions follow repeated warnings issued to the Russian government and was a necessary response to efforts to harm US interests. The action has prompted vows from Russian authorities that Moscow will respond in kind. Russia denies any involvement in hacking and called the US action ungrounded. Other nations called on both sides to exercise restraint.
美俄都是世界上具有重要影响的大国，在促进世界和平与发展方面负有重要的责任。我们希望呢，双方能够通过友好的协商，妥善的解决有关的分歧，在相互尊重的基础上处理彼此之间的关系，实现美俄关系的。
It is noteworthy that Obama had vowed action against Russia amid accusations that it directed cyber attacks on the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton's campaign. Several emails containing information regarding Democrats were released during the election campaign through the WikiLeaks website. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has dismissed the hacking claims as ridiculous and said it was time for the US to move on. The measures taken during the last days of Obama's presidency mark a new post-Cold War low in US-Russia ties. But Moscow knows that in 3 weeks' time, President Obama will be vacating the White House, and America's next president, Donald Trump, has already called for better ties with Moscow. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from the Middle East now. Well, a new nationwide ceasefire between Assyrian government forces and rebel groups appears to be largely holding at the moment. However, isolated clashes have been reported since the truce came into effect at midnight on Thursday. Well, the deal includes many rebel groups, but not jihadists such as the Islamic State or the Kurdish YPG. Now, if it holds, then peace talks are due to be held in Kazakhstan within a month. Remember, most of the country was reportedly calm overnight, but it reported fierce clashes between the rebels and government forces in the northern province of Hama, while other isolated incidents were also reported in Idlib in northwestern Syria. Unlike previous ceasefires, now this has not come out of the US and Russian bilateral spadework, but from a new understanding between Moscow and Ankara. More news from across the world in Global Buzz. The Turkish Parliament's Constitutional Commission has approved a draft constitutional reform law. The bill proposes several constitutional changes, including a switch to a presidential system of governance in the country. The bill will now be put to vote in the parliament. After the vote, Turkey will hold a referendum on the changes. Washington has expressed surprise over the UK's criticism of John Kerry's speech on Israel. UK Prime Minister Theresa May had criticised the outgoing US Secretary of State John Kerry for his condemnation of Israeli policy, saying that he focused too much on the issue of settlements and that he should not have attacked the political makeup of an ally's elected government. Police in Rio de Janeiro have found a body inside a burnt-out car that had been rented by the Greek ambassador to Brazil. The ambassador, Kyriakos Emerides, went missing 3 days ago. He was last seen on Monday in the city of Nova on the outskirts of Rio, where the car was found. Now, forensic experts are carrying out tests to establish the body's identity. The Pakistani man wrongly arrested for the Berlin truck attack has said that he was afraid for the safety of his family back home. Naveed Baloch, an asylum seeker from Balochistan, was arrested hours after the attack on a Christmas market in Berlin, in which 12 people were killed. Police released Baloch 24 hours later after failing to find any evidence of his involvement. More than a dozen Nobel laureates have urged the United Nations to end the humanitarian crisis of Myanmar's Rohingya minority group. The members of the group have been fleeing to Bangladesh to escape a bloody military crackdown. In a letter to the United Nations Security Council, 23 Nobel laureates said that a human tragedy amounting to ethnic cleansing and crimes against humanity was unfolding in Myanmar. On to some sports news now. Well, in a sudden move, the Sports Ministry on Friday temporarily suspended the Indian Olympic Association following its decision to make Suresh Kalmadi and Abhay Singh Chautala as life presidents. Well, the Sports Ministry has announced that the IOA suspension is to be continued until it reverses the appointment of Kalmadi and Chautala. Well, Kalmadi and Chautala were elevated to the honorary position at the IOA's annual general meeting in Chennai on 27th of December. Well, just hours before IOA suspension, its Associate Vice President Narinder Batra had also resigned from the post as a mark of protest against the IOA for not taking back its decision. Now, Batra, who recently became the International Hockey Federation president, said that he was strongly against the backdoor entry of Kalmadi and Chautala into the IOA.
सरकार ने स्पष्ट कर दिया था कि यह फैसला हमको मंजूर नहीं है, क्योंकि यह फैसला खेल भावना के खिलाफ था, ये फैसला गुड गवर्नेंस के खिलाफ था, ये एक फैसला बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ एथिक्स हैं उसके खिलाफ था। इसलिए सरकार ने यह फैसला किया है कि आईओए की मान्यता को निलंबित कर दिया जाए तब तक जब तक कि ये अपने फैसले को वापस नहीं लेते हैं।
And for more sporting action on the ground, let's take a look at Sports Beat. Mitchell Starc spearheaded Australia to a stunning final day victory over Pakistan in the second test at Melbourne. The fast bowler smashed 82-84, with a record of 7 sixes and then captured 4 wickets as well to give Australia an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. The hosts bowled Pakistan out for 163 to win the test by an innings and 18 runs. South Africa defeated Sri Lanka by 206 runs in the first test at Port Elizabeth. The hosts took 5 wickets in the first 14 overs on the final day as they bowled out the Lankans for 281 in their second innings. Earlier, Stephen Cook's second innings 117 runs had set the home side up for the win. And Rafael Nadal comfortably beat Thomas Berdych in the opening round of the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. The 14 times Grand Slam winner, who was returning after an injury, won 6-0, 6-4. He will next play Milos Raonic in the semi-final. That's all in this edition of News Tonight, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha Television. Thanks for watching. Good night.